Tales of the Jedi season 2. This one is going to be good. We
Yeah,
know it's going to be good. I think the biggest speculation is what Tales are we going to get?
I know. Yeah, and I was thinking about it's really cool if you look at who they picked for the last one because it wasn't like it was very non-traditional Jedi stories, right? You had
Yep.
really two Jedi that kind of got burned, right? With Dooku and then Ahsoka. So I am curious as to who's going to be the focus of this next season, because I imagine they're going to try to pick again people who have been on a different path or like an interesting path
Mhm.
and kind of highlighting what that was that led them to where they are. And so I don't know. There's a lot of different directions. Do you have any thoughts on who you think is going to be?
So yeah, I've selfishly I want Balin, but with the
Oh, that'd be so
timing,
cool.
I don't know if it's possible unless
Yeah.
in retrospect they just knew he was going to be so interesting, and so like a couple years ago they were going, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to be good. Let's animate
Yeah.
him in." Or maybe it doesn't take that long to throw these together. I have no clue, but I just think Balin's too soon for something that we're likely going to get by May the 4th.
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless they were just already planning on using a different voice actor, which could be plausible.
Yeah, well, I figure they would have
You
done
never
that
know.
anyways. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
probably would
it's
be
possible. I
something.
would love that.
Yeah,
And if not this season, I feel like they need to do it in a season, because I,
yeah,
I think seeing how invested people are in Balin now, that would be something people would love.
and almost just to honor him too, you know.
Yeah,
So that would be cool. Andrew definitely down for a Balin arc, and then
yeah,
maybe Thrawn. That would be interesting. I mean, he's not a Jedi, but why not get a Thrawn backstory? You know, maybe something. What if it's like way, way back, like young Thrawn? That'd be pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. All of his
I think
backstory right now is currently in literature. None of it's
it's a
on
lot of
screen.
it.
So yeah,
So I
it would
think
be interesting.
out Balin's like a wish list, but I think it would be cool to get an Obi-Wan like before episode 1. I think it would be cool to get an Anakin between
Yeah,
episodes 1 and 2, maybe like young Anakin. We don't have that on screen. Would not
yeah.
surprise me at all, especially with this like big push on Anakin lately. What about a Luke between 5 and 6 or between
I would,
4
I
and
would, I
5?
think Luke would be cool. It would be cool. I don't know if you're getting into like stuff that I mean, because then at that point you're dealing with pretty major, major movie canon. But it'd be cool.
Yeah. You could have
Um,
Leia in the few months that she actually
yeah,
trained to be a Jedi. Be pretty interesting.
yeah,
She quit on it pretty quickly, but you could get a Ben Solo. That may be how they introduce
yeah. There's a
him.
lot of
You know?
options. I was Kane and Jarrus would be good.
Oh gosh,
It would
yeah.
be
And
cool to
they've done that
see
already, like a little bit here and there.
a little bit. Yeah, because we see him
Yeah.
in was it Bad Batch
Bad Batch season 1. Yeah.
when Order 66? Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. It starts with him, right? The
Yeah,
whole series starts with
and he
him.
runs off. But we don't really know how he meets up with Hera or gets involved with the
Hmm.
Ghost Crew. Like those would be interesting stories to see.
For sure.
How he comes to terms with still being a Jedi, like all that stuff would be cool. Um, you know who I thought would be really interesting?
Who?
Pong Krell. You remember that guy?
Which one is he?
He was the general in the Clone Wars who hated the clones,
They just
and
make a
he.
Funko Pop about him.
I have
I
no
don't know that you
idea.
would know
That's
that.
your that's your world. I
if
don't
if
know.
Noah is still in the chat, he can tell us. Or maybe seriously Star Wars. Chris may know, but yeah, I'm not
He was
sure
he
about
was a
that.
really interesting character in the Clone Wars. He hated the clones. Basically, threw them like fodder in the battle lines. At the end, when they basically capture him, he was planning to go to the Separatists. Like he was planning to switch sides and join the dark side and all that stuff.
Uh,
He would be an interesting character. I thought to see his backstory, just because he was such an odd, interesting villain that kind of popped up out of nowhere in such a really short arc in the Clone Wars. But that's more of a personal interest, I guess. I don't know if that
I'd
would
be. It
be a
sounds
broader
interesting.
interest.
I
Yeah,
need to go
he's
ahead
he's
and
an interesting
finish the
guy.
Clone Wars. I've hit the high spots. I need to get that
Padawan
one.
Chronicle says there's a novel about how Hera and Kanan met. Hmm,
Interesting. And you
I
read
did not
books
know
too,
that.
so
I do read. Yeah, I can do that. That's a skill I have.
you're the educated one of the two of us.
I wouldn't go that far.
And then
I'll have to
maybe
check that
Plo
out.
Koon. Yeah, that would be a cool one to
That would be
explore as
cool too.
well. especially since he
Yeah,
was the placeholder for Luke Skywalker in Mando season 2. That would be
yeah.
cool to see.
There's, I
So
mean, there's. They just need to keep making seasons. Basically, they just need to do all these people. Is I feel like is what we're getting at.
yeah, so I can read. Andrew, maybe you can read. I'm reading what you're saying, so maybe you're reading the comments as well. I don't know. So, Tales of the Jedi. Now, one last thing on this. What if
Yeah.
they're completely throwing us a curveball and they're like Tales of the Jedi season 2, they keep putting it
Hmm.
out, and then we log into Disney Plus and we turn it on and it's like Tales of the Sith.
I
How cool
thought
would
about
that
that the
be?
other day. I was like, I wonder if they're going to do Sith, and I was like, well, that'd be called Tales of the Sith. Maybe they'll have like a lightsaber, scratch it out, and it'll say
That would be
Sith.
such a baller
I
move if
would
they
I
did
would love
that.
that. I think that would be so cool to see the other side of things because
Yep.
you don't really see Sith training. That's one of the things briefly going back to the Acolyte is that I really hope we get to see what it looks like for these Sith in training and learning about the dark side of the Force and what it means
Yeah.
to be a Sith. Like, because that's nothing in Star Wars media right now. I know there's literature that covers it in different
Right.
aspects, but that would be really cool to see in a visual form. And so I'd love a Tales of the Sith type thing. That'd be really cool.
I would prefer it. I
Yeah,
think
it'd be pretty interesting.
you got to do the Plagueis novel. I know we talked about it the other day. I just finished it. I keep talking about it, but they do
It
some of
was
the
good.
Sith training in that as well. Like
Oh
they're
yeah,
jerks,
I
you know.
should
Like
check it
it's
out.
it's pretty rigid. The Sith training. So I think it'll be cool, if we saw
Yeah,
that. And
I need to pick up
you're
some
to
books and just
Ricky.
make myself read.
Pop the Bounty Collector. We are live currently. Kind of crazy. So yeah, that's Tales of the Jedi dash maybe hopefully Tales of the Sith at some point.
It'd be cool.
I'm pretty excited. I think optimistically maybe this is like a May the 4th release, but I don't know. It may go Bad Batch first, and then the last Tales of the Jedi was in October, but I feel like the fall is already going to have some kind of live action going. So I'm hoping we get
Yeah.
it sooner rather than later.
I could see it being like a May 4th type drop. Didn't they drop something on May 4th? Was it last year, the year before? I don't remember.
Visions.
Was it Visions?
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe
I
both.
could see
Yeah,
him doing that
both
because it's
visions.
it's a short form series, right? Like if it's the same and it's
Yeah.
just 6 short episodes, obviously the production time on that's a lot lower, so they could have it ready earlier in the year.
I
I
hope that's
imagine
the
they started
case.
working on it pretty quick after they realized how much people loved loved the first one. So
Yes. So I'm hoping it's soon. I think it very well may be because it will have been a while since we've had something. I mean, Ahsoka
yeah,
ended in October, right? So we need
yeah.
something kind of soon. We're